The emerald tablets translated in the work are 10, okay? But they were divided into 13 parts for the sake of convenience. So they took the 13 tablets and broke it down into 10 because of the way that the verses were written out. It just made it easier to put it into a canonized book. So that's why they did that way. The last two are so great and far-reaching in their import that for thousands of years it was forbidden to release them to the world at large. Okay? So we're talking about the final two tablets of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the plural tablets, because there's two versions of the Emerald Tablets. There's an Emerald Tablet of Hermes, which is singular, one, which is located in Cambridge at the Cambridge University in the UK. Anyone can go there and actually see it with their own eyes. And then the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which were written between 36 to 38,000 years ago, are actually in the Vatican archive now. That's where they reside after being rediscovered and brought back to Egypt in the 1920s. So there are two tablets that they say were so far-reaching in their import. In other words, the amount of knowledge and wisdom in these last two tablets that it was forbidden to release them to the world at large. That's pretty interesting. I'm actually going to break down and decipher these tablets. So I've already done it. I've extracted additional wisdom. These last two tablets, even I hadn't fully deciphered them at the time that I wrote the book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. But it's taking me now 4 additional, actually almost 4.5 additional years to break these tablets down and to extract the wisdom and the understanding. And what I pulled out of these tablets is mind-boggling and absolutely paradigm shifting. So it's amazing because a lot of people have been trying to break them down and get the full understanding, but it's only been a surface understanding from some of these authors and researchers. I've been able to fully extract the information. Let me read something to you that was written 38,000 years ago. Wise words, although written by my decaying hand. This is Thoth speaking right now. The first intelligencer, the most wisest man to ever walk this planet. The one that helped kickstart civilizations around the entire planet, all over the world. In every region of the planet, he has his influence there. He says, wise words, although written by my decaying hand, remain imperishable through time, imbued with the medicine of immortality by the All-Master. He was taught the secrets of immortality by the All-Master, who actually was his father, Enki, aka Thought Me. He said, be unseen and be undiscovered by all those who will come and go, wandering the wastelands of life. See, now I'm gonna read this again to you, but let me break that down. What he's saying here is the knowledge and wisdom, for example, that I've gained in these last two tablets that I'm gonna share with the people, I'm not gonna give it out to people who are wandering the wastelands of life. He says, be unseen and undiscovered. In other words, this is VIP, this is secret, this is private. By all those who will come and go, wandering the wastelands of life. He says, be hidden until an older heaven births human beings who are worthy of your wisdom. We are under a new heaven based on the celestial alignment, right? The precession of the equinox as the star constellations move across the sky over 27,000 years, right? We're under a new heaven at this exact moment in time right now. He's saying is, be hidden until an older heaven, we're in the older heaven right now, births human beings, that's us, who are worthy of your wisdom. Again, that's us. It's this powerful, powerful stuff, and it's extremely important. And it's the reason why I'm doing it in a workshop format, because it's that important that it's done that way, because I'm listening to the master. And the master says, do not waste energy and do not waste time giving this information to people who are wandering the wastelands of life, who are casually and nonchalantly trying to accept the wisdom and the knowledge. Now, let me read it to you without stopping. Wise words, although written by my decaying hand, remain imperishable through time, imbued with the medicine of immortality by the All-Master. Be unseen and undiscovered by all those who will come and go, wandering the wastelands of life. Be hidden until an older heaven births human beings who are worthy of your wisdom. We are the human beings under the new heaven at this moment in time, and we are worthy of the wisdom because we are willing to invest energy and effort into gaining the knowledge. We are living in the era where we can decipher the information. This information has been undecipherable for eons. Imagine how lucky you are right now to be alive at this very moment, to be able to be in a position to actually discern information that was written for you tens of thousands of years ago. You have that information went out as a ripple in space-time, right? It went out as a ripple in space-time, waiting to meet up with consciousness that can discern it in a future time period. And it has now intersected with us here in this exact moment, in this exact time. This is how powerful this information is. We're at a crucial, pivotal point right now in human history where all the secrets are being revealed. All of the secrets are being revealed. But you must become an adept initiate. You see, in the original mystery schools, you weren't allowed to just show up at a place where teaching was going on. It didn't work that way, okay? You had to literally be invited to show up. You had to become an adept initiate. And that's really what it's all about. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to gain this knowledge and to gain this wisdom. You find out all religions say that they're worshiping a being that's not from this world, not of this world. And there's no way to get around that. There's no way to hide it. There's no way to try to say, well, no, it's not what it means, and so forth and so on. You can't do that. Let me pull it up over here because I got to pull it up on my newer version of the book. And so you can't do that because why? We're talking about the fact that the person who told you to pray to them and the angels and so forth told you, I'm not of this world. I'm not saying angels don't exist. What I'm telling you is the ones in these books, they're not divine beings. Virtually all religions either worship aliens. This is from my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, version 2, volume 2. Virtually all religions either worship aliens or believe in aliens, and they don't even know it. Let's have a look at the definition of alien. A resident born in or belonging to another country or an entity from outer space. Now that the definition is clear, let's take a look at some of its largest religions and their origins. Christianity. 2.1 billion people worship Jesus. Well, he says in John 8:23, and he said unto them, you are from beneath, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. I'm not from earth. Islam. 1.3 billion people believe that the Prophet Muhammad was meditating in the cave of Hira by himself when the angel Gabriel, who said that it was not from earth, descended and came down from above to him and told him to recite the Iqra, the words of God, even though the Prophet Muhammad was illiterate at the time. He was illiterate. Hinduism. 851 million Hindus hold that the cosmos is populated by numerous deities and spiritual beings, gods and goddesses or devas, who actually influence the world and who interact with humans and say that they're not from Earth, aliens. Buddhism. 375 million people are in Buddhist. Deities, they say, are certain branches of a larger Buddhist tradition, including the Mahayana, include a variety of gods and goddesses that say they're not from Earth, aliens. Mormons. 13.5 million people say that the angel Moroni, who's not from Earth, according to Angel Moroni, not from Billy Carson, is in Mormonism an angel that visited Joseph Smith on numerous occasions, beginning on September 21st, 1823. According to Smith, the angel was the guardian of the golden plates, which the Latter-day Saints believe were the source material for the Book of Mormon that were buried in a hill near Smith's home in western New York. People kickstarted a whole religion from this alien invasion, this alien interaction, okay, and created Mormonism. So like I said before, virtually all religions believe in aliens or worship aliens and don't even know it, aren't even paying attention. We have to wake up and smell the coffee. We have to realize what's going on here. I just had a reverend on my podcast. This man has come to a complete realization after 33 years in the clergy that these people are aliens and that there is a God, just like I believe there's a God. But the God that we both believe exists is not written in these religious texts. Those are people who are manipulating other people. People with advanced wisdom that utilize that advanced wisdom and that advanced knowledge to put their boot on other people's necks. The things that they're capable of doing appear to be magical because they had advanced technology in the ancient past. And the people who didn't have advanced technology thought they were gods and worshiped them. It's called a cargo cult, period, point blank. There's no way to get around it. There's no way to get around it. Both said, builded I the Great Pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of Earth's force, burning eternally so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I builded my knowledge of magic science. What does magic science mean in ancient text? When you see the phrase magic science, they're talking about advanced technology. That's what that means. And how do I know this? Because when you read enough text about that phrase, magic science, you begin to realize that after that phrase, they begin to talk about things that sound technological, that are stunning other people, that are making other people bow and grovel at their feet because they see these signs and wonders. But what's actually happening is they're showing them some technological devices that they have, and the people are like wowed by them, right? So it's pattern of the Earth's force, burning so that it too might remain through the ages. Builded in it my knowledge of magic science. And I'm going to talk about some of that magic science in a second here. The Great Pyramid is encoded with super advanced technology and mathematics. Let's take a look at some of the wisdom that Thoth encoded into the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is a massive wireless power plant, and this is just one of many multifunctional purposes of this gigantic stone computer that's here on Earth. The Great Pyramid is not just a pyramid. It was never a tomb, by the way. Not once was it ever a tomb. It's a gigantic multifunctional stone computer and power generator. That's what it is, based on actual engineers that have researched this pyramid and come to the understanding that it generates wireless electricity. If you look at the Great Pyramid, before I go on to some of these dimensions, if you look at the Great Pyramid and how it's actually built, let me put this bookmark in here, you'll see that it's built on top of an aquifer. Now the aquifer is dried out right now because of the Nile being moved, meandering far and far away. Why is the Nile not close to the pyramids anymore like it was in ancient times? Well, just read about the Second Pyramid War and you'll find out why. That area is a desert because it was decimated. It's not a desert because natural geological processes over millions of years turned it into a desert. That's baloney. That area was completely decimated by a blast. When I go to Egypt, which I'm going in just another week and a half, I'll be there again for a whole month. When you go out to the sands of Giza, when you put your hand in the mud and come up, you put your hand in the sand, and come up, you begin to get in your hand a lot of different things like seashells and other types of fossils that let you know that there was water there at one time. Also, sometimes you get these clumps of glass. Why am I getting glass from sand? In order to turn sand into glass, you need temperatures of 3,000 degrees. 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit to get clumps of actual glass. That's pretty interesting, you see? Pretty interesting. So what that means is we're looking at a situation where there was a blast of some sort. Now, this water runs underneath the pyramid, and when water runs underneath crystal magnetized granite, which is what the base is made out of, it generates something called physiostatic electricity. Now, that physiostatic electricity moves up positive ions up into the Grand Gallery. Now, in the Grand Gallery, there used to be resonating rods, and the slots for those rods are there, but the rods themselves have been taken out. They're missing. Those rods would step up the amperage up into the King's Chamber, and then the King's Chamber would magnify from there and shoot it through the apex. At the gold capstone, which has now also been removed, would then shoot that wireless electricity around the region, and the solid magnetized crystal obelisks that are in that region would capture that ambient electricity and channel it down to the ground, where if you had a JED, a DJED, which are well known throughout the land of Egypt because they're in almost every hieroglyph, these JEDs. The JED has a cable coming out of it. There's a famous image of a JED with a wire coming out of it connected to a light bulb at the Temple of Dendera. So what's happening there is you're seeing them harness wireless electricity, just like Nikola Tesla did with the Wardenclyffe Tower. As a matter of fact, Nikola Tesla said he learned the secret of wireless electricity from the ancient Egyptians. He didn't come up with that idea originally. He copied what he knew already existed. That's just one function and one purpose of the Great Pyramid. The second and most important function of the Great Pyramid, besides electricity, was the secrets hidden in the dimensions of the pyramid itself, which I'm going to cover these dimensions with you right now. Now let's talk about these pyramids. So we were talking about the fact that the pyramid is encoded with a lot of information, right? It's a multifunctional stone computer. Now, let's check this out. Earth's mass can be calculated by the dimensions of the stones in the Great Pyramid. Isn't that pretty interesting? You see, the Great Pyramid itself is a time capsule of information left behind for the people of this current era, today. It's for us. It's for us, the ones here now, the blessed ones. We are the chosen ones to be able to understand and break down this knowledge. The mass of the pyramid equals the volume times density. So you take the total mass of the pyramid, which is 2 million, and it equals the volume times the density. So the volume times the density gives you an incredible mathematical number. It gives you the mass converted to pyramid tons. It gives you the mass of the Earth converted into pyramid tons, which is 5,272,010 pyramid tons. Since the mean density of the Earth was defined as 1.0, then the mass of the Earth is 10 to the 15th power times the mass in the pyramid tons. It's going to give you that same exact calculation all over again. So we understand now, in one way at least, and there's another way. I'm going to just break this down so you can understand it. The Great Pyramid itself is a representation of the mass of planet Earth. And you can calculate it two different ways, meaning it's not a coincidence. You can also calculate the speed of the Earth around the sun. The pyramid inch times 10 to the 8th power equals the speed of the Earth around the sun circa 2600 BCE. So this is pretty interesting. When you look at the speed of the Earth in 2600 BCE around the sun, which, the Earth's speed changes ever so slightly over time, we know that it matches that perfectly. The mass of the Earth can be calculated. The weight of the pyramid is approximately 5,955,000 tons. Multiplied by 10 to the 8 gives a reasonable estimate of Earth's mass. So again, a third way to calculate the mass of the Earth via the pyramid. Another thing that's interesting about the Great Pyramid, it's a 43,200 scale of planet Earth. So if you take the Earth and scale it down 43,200 times, you can take the Great Pyramid exactly as it sits there, and it will fit perfectly inside the planet Earth. Or you can scale that Great Pyramid up 43,200 times, and it fits perfectly inside the sphere of the Earth, touching all corners. You see? So the Great Pyramid itself, it is a representation of the planet. You can calculate the average land height. The average height of land above sea level for the Earth is 5,449 inches. That's also the height of the Great Pyramid. Now, let me explain this to you. In order to calculate the height of land mass on the planet, so you can build your pyramid to that height, you need a satellite. You need an Earth orbiting satellite. And why do you need that? Because you need a satellite orbiting in a polar orbit from pole to pole, so that as the Earth spins on its axis, you can scan swaths of the land and you can take topographical data. Without topographical data, you can't discover all the peaks above sea level. So now that you're taking this scan of the Earth as it rotates on its axis, pole to pole, you're calculating all of the peaks as you're doing the topography. Now you take the height of those peaks and then you divide them by the number of peaks and you get the average height, which is going to be 5,449. It took me 8 years to do all these calculations. So now what does that mean? That means that they had technology. What they're telling us here is they had something that orbited the planet from pole to pole that had the capability of scanning the planet as it rotated, so that they can come up with all the height of all the peaks on Earth, and then say, okay, boom, now we're going to make the pyramid this height so that they can know in the future, they meaning us, because I'm telling you right now, how smart we were, how intelligent we were, the technology we had. We were able to now reverse think the process needed to come up with this calculation and realize, wow, we didn't invent satellites. They already existed. The light equation. The height of the Great Pyramid minus the height of the capstone represents 1/1,000,000th the time it takes for light to travel the mean radius of the Earth's orbit around the sun, which is 1 AU, 1 astronomical unit in astrophysics. Using 1 pyramid inch equals 24 hours, which is 1 solar day. By that method, you can calculate the speed of light. So the pyramid has a capability of calculating the speed of light, not just one way, but also 2 ways. This is just one of 2, meaning we have circumstantial evidence that it's not a coincidence. And all these people talking about flat Earth, the Earth isn't flat, and there is atmosphere, okay? Anybody who's listening to that flat Earth garbage has been completely brainwashed and has had their brain sucked out of their skull. Anybody with basic knowledge of basic physics will tell you and know that we're living on a spherical planet. The velocity of light, with distance of 1 AU, known as the transitive time of light for this same distance, the velocity of light can be found. The velocity of light is the distance of 1 AU known, and the transit time of light for this time and distance, the velocity of light can be found. So we're talking about here now, we're getting into the numeric part. So there's some more numbers in here. I don't want to get too many big numbers because I'll be speaking a lot of numbers you won't understand. But let me break it down this way. Inside the Grand Gallery, going up to the King's Chamber, there is this area that's open leading up in this particular angle towards the King's Chamber. It is located at a specific longitude, and that longitude are the same digits and numbers for the speed of light in meters per second. And say, wait a minute, meters per second? How in the world can we have the speed of light in meters per second calculated into an ancient structure when meters didn't exist back then? Wrong. Is that what they taught you in school too? That meters didn't exist back in the day, in ancient times? That's fake news. How do we know this? Guess what? There are some famous Proto-Sumerian vases and tablets that were discovered, Sumerian. But guess where they were discovered? In Mexico. There's even a Wikipedia, and I don't even love Wikipedia, but even Wikipedia can't lie about this one. And guess what was written on them? An ancient metric system. So we know the metric system is thousands of years old. It even predates the modern version of, or the newer version of Sumerian. It's pre-Sumerian. And to give more credence to the fact that Sumerian tablets were in America, they found a Native American chief buried in a burial mound, and when they opened the burial mound, in his pocket was a Sumerian tablet. Look up Chief Joseph Sumerian tablet. Just Google Chief Joseph Sumerian tablet. You'll find out that he had a Sumerian tablet in America in his pocket. Now, how'd that get there? You see, because this was a global civilization. The Great Pyramid is also at the center of landmass on Earth. Not the center of Earth, the center of the landmass on Earth. I don't know if your brain can calculate how hard that is to do. That's pretty tough. That's pretty tough, because again, you need advanced technology. So what they're telling us over and over again in these calculations that we've been uncovering is that, okay, new wisdom keepers, now that you have decoded the mysteries, what we're showing you is our advanced technology, our ability to do this, and how we used it. How were we able to do it? You must extrapolate that we used advanced technology, because that's the only way you'd be able to do it today. In order to calculate the landmass on Earth, you need a polar orbiting satellite. Any astrophysicist will agree with this. Any astrophysicist will conclude that you need a polar orbiting satellite, because that's how we do it today. You have a polar orbiting satellite scanning the planet as it spins on its axis, and then from there you're able to calculate the center of landmass. And when you find the center of landmass, you drop a pyramid directly on that spot. Okay.